Hi,
Hi.
Alex. Yeah.
Right. So I will jump straight in. As a day one fan, I'm trying very hard not to give spoilers away for those who haven't seen it yet. But there is so much to break down in this show. So Diana, I want to start with you with like Mei Ling in this. She is such a survivalist in this series.
Mhm.
What was it like trying to bring all these elements to the character of wanting control but never really getting it?
Oh, that's a great question. I feel well, I'm gonna first start with the whole survivalist word because that is so true. And I felt that as the actor playing Mei Ling. Um, Throughout all three seasons, it was so comparable, like personal feeling versus character. Like in season one, it was just about surviving, and I felt like coming on, I was terrified. I get to work with these amazing actors who have so much experience um and I've been an admirer of so many of them. And to jump on, like it was just fight or flight. And then throughout the seasons, I feel like, especially in season three, I started getting more comfortable with everyone, whether it's like my confidence and Mei Ling, you kind of feel her settling into her roots is like at the top. And it was until everything was kind of ripped out from under her that it all shifted. But yeah, she's such it's really about just not ever going back to where she came from, which is from nothing. So with that in mind, it just there's only one goal, and which is to just take. She's quite selfish sometimes.
But can we
Yeah.
talk about how Myling and Lee Young, like this relationship, this love they had for each other, and it was all ripped away.
Hmm. Joe, why don't you talk about that?
Well, we're always in love, so it's just like it's a complex world to love someone with the situation that's going on around us. I think for Leon, I think love is the foundation of his character. I think our showrunner John Trapper told me in the beginning of before I jumped into the show that I asked him about what is his foundation. Is like you're a man of love, you're a warrior, and you're fighting for love. Love is you fight for love, and you will die for love as well. So that's probably sounds simple, but it's one season to another is getting harder and harder because because of conscious that knowing love is not the only answer, and then sometimes you're trapped in the situation of this is the right thing or wrong. And then I think Mei Ling's character is kind of like very trying to save the town, trying to save Chinatown in a very bold way. And then he's as a human being also he thinks that this is not the way. But and then you have two options of you fighting for love and following what she's doing, or you actually knowing that there are other way, but you probably know that the love is gonna get you know taken from you or fading. So that's the situation for me. Easy to say as a man who is in love, man in love, a warrior, but I think we have a great writer that put me in a very hard position that I thought it's supposed to be easy. Okay, love, fight, but and then trapped in the situation, a lot of situation, a lot of scenes. I was like, okay, this is something that I have to break it out and break it apart. That this is something I have. I'm a human being. I have code. I'm in love, but also I know that probably love's not the only reason for me to move on, or love is not the only reason to create better Chinatown.
It's just like a toxic relationship. That's
It
what it
is.
is. Like it's
It,
so pure, the love. And then how many times can one thing happen over and over again before you're like, this is no longer good for me? Yeah.
love sucks. No, no, I'm just kidding.
Wait, let's jump to Buckley. I mean,
Hmm.
oh, you are not an easy character to root for. Never.
Well, listen, I think I'm actually very similar to Mei Ling, or Buckley's very similar to Mei Ling. Obviously we have our differences, which are quite obvious. But if you think about them as people, they're both people who've had to come from very far away to a new place and completely reinvent themselves. And and they're both people who are, I think, constantly underrated and underestimated by other people, obviously for different reasons. But yeah, so if you start off from that place, then, you know, maybe you'll find some small shred of empathy for the guy. Who knows?
I mean, he's a very good manipulator. He is very good at being the puppet master of sorts.
Yeah.
What was it like developing this over the course of 3 seasons, from going to very much behind the scenes to putting himself out there and being in the lead?
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, you know, just kudos to our amazing writers for making so much of that, you know, just not just easy for me, but just such a joy to explore and to play with. I think it was certainly he found it, he was much more in his comfort zone, hiding in the shadows, obviously, because he has this huge secret that he's keeping hidden. When Mei Ling discovers his secret, you know, and then we, you know, obviously lose Mayor Blake, and he's faced with this moment. It really does take I think you know, a big leap of courage, a big leap of faith for him to step into the leadership role, knowing full well that he's going to have to step into the spotlight of public scrutiny. He's going to have to get over lots of his, you know, little idiosyncrasies that he has in terms of his PTSD and his obsessive compulsive behaviors with regards to coming into contact with people, which he's going to have to do, and put himself out there politically. But yeah, I think going from the puppet master and pulling the strings to being out there was also a big learning curve for him, and he's still figuring that out. It's not easy, and I think he had perhaps underestimated Blake in a way, and underestimated how difficult it is being a true leader and being in a position. But he's, you know, the moments of self-doubt that he has in the election in season 3, and then, you know, kind of finding it within himself, but also having the support of a new love, to a good woman to stand by his side and bolster him, I think is certainly helpful, and we can all learn from that. And every man needs a good woman on his side.
Good. She had her moments. I mean, each character is very flawed, very human. You know, they've all got good and bad traits. Can you share what you think the best trait and the worst trait of your individual characters are?
Oh. I think if Mei Ling chooses to, if you're like family, like chosen family, she will protect you at all costs. But I also think that her worst trait is this insecurity that she has of losing everything, because it causes her a lot of pain and suffering. This fear for some reason that comes across with lack of power. That's mine.
Joe?
Well, the best trait for Leon probably is he's a man with a lot of love and then blinded with love. That the worst trait probably he's trying. You know, he's a bit, you know, with the distractions throughout 3 seasons, kind of like he's trying to take control, but in a very soft way. I don't know how to say. So that's why he disobeyed some rules and then going behind her back, you know, with the goal that this is the best for the town. But actually, for me, probably there's something about him. He wants control a little bit, but he's just too afraid to say it in front of her. Probably, he's just so much in love.
Langley?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Langley,
Yep. Louisa, is that time?
technically it's time, but you should answer the question. You have a buffer, so go ahead.
Yeah, I think just very quickly in terms of positive attributes, I think Buckley's he's resilience. He's an incredibly resilient person, and he is methodical. And I suppose negative traits. The guy has deep emotional wounds around his worthiness. And I guess the big question will be, should we be lucky enough to go season 4? Is he going to be able to overcome them, or will they be his Achilles heel?
Thank you so much for your time. It's been great.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Sandra.
Okay.